Saw that Dave Smith was doing an LOS podcast here in Nashville, so I bought tickets,
Yeah.
and then I on the ticketing thing, it like definitely wasn't LOS. It was the Depraved, which was great. And there's a joke last night that I just can't stop thinking about from Big J Okerson.
Yeah.
So the world's first Down syndrome lawyer, her name is Anna Victoria. She passed the bar with Down syndrome. Now imagine you committed some crime and you could spend like life in prison, and you walk into the courtroom and you see that your court appointed attorney is a woman.
Yes. Oh, that's great.
Listen up, I'm about to get
What's going on? It's time for another episode of Too Hard for the Radio. Transmitting from the future-free state of Greater Idaho, I am the one-armed madman. Back with me, we've got the great Daniel Steele. Dan, what's up, man?
What's up, everybody? It's been about a month.
Yeah,
My
yeah.
bad.
You know, the feminists have done such damage to this country that, like, when I got hurt in 2015, there was 2 males and 1 female burn surgeons in the hospital that I went to, and I didn't even think twice about having the lady work on me. But now I'm walking into my orthopedic surgeon's office, and a woman's walking, and I'm going, "Are you sure the X-ray looks good? You're positive?"
Is there somebody else I can talk to? I thought you were going to go another way and just go into Anna Polina of feminism going too far. Did you see the video that they put out? It was like 3 or 4 Republican senators or Congress women or whatever they were talking about how they need to stand up for women and women's
God.
rights and immutable differences. And it's like, this is, well, I didn't vote, but I definitely would have voted against that.
I wonder if I can fucking find it real quick. Fuck, I don't even know how to spell her name. Anna Polina. Polino. Maybe that's
Type
it.
in stripper from Florida in Congress.
Oh, no, the first video that popped up is some chick deep throating a black dick. So
Oh.
we're not going to find it.
I mean, they all start somewhere.
Yeah, right? So what's been going on, man? We've got business ventures. We've got, not hurricanes. What are the other? Twisters. You've got all kinds of shit going on.
Yeah, last week was pretty wild because it's Nashville is a comedy festival, and so I had tickets on Thursday night, Friday night, or Thursday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, and last night, and woke up at 2:30 in the morning to alarm tornado sirens, or my phone at least, and then we were up from like 2:30 to 6,
Yeah.
and then had to cancel and not go see Mark Norman on Thursday night because I just like. It would take me a half hour to get home, and I'd feel horrible if like my dogs died in a cage while
Yeah.
I was gone.
Yeah.
And then Saturday night had to cancel too. Saturday, I think I sent you a picture of the Twister. It
You
was
did. It was
massive
nasty.
that passed by us.
It's fucking scary,
I just
man.
saw what's the distillery that Rogan always pimps?
Oh, yeah. Buffalo Trace. It's underwater.
Yeah. I went 2 years ago. It was a beautiful place. So let me bring my dog in.
Yeah.
It's the only distillery that I went to where they gave you free samples. Everybody else charged you for the tasting. They're like, no, come taste our shit.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool.
I hate it when people like charge you to advertise for them, because that's really what they want is they want you to come in and do a social media post and, oh, this was so great and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, I learned this in moto early on. It's like, I'm not going to advertise for you if you're going to charge me full price. Like,
Yeah.
I've got companies that maybe aren't as cool as yours that are willing to give me deals, and I'm going to wear their shit. I'm not going to advertise for you for free. That's fucking stupid.
Yeah. So the Jack Daniels one, I didn't mind paying because I bought the higher end of it.
Yeah.
And I learned a lot about just like the palate, and because I bought their higher proof stuff tasted better, which I just assumed that the higher the proof, the it would just like burn your throat or
Yeah.
whatever. And so I learned a little bit about that. And you're paying for the tour anyway, and then it was like $20 more. I think you got like a free tasting of like their fucking Fireball knockoff and stuff, or you could pay $20 more and get the high end, and that's what I did.
Yeah,
That was 8 years ago. Man, time is flying.
it does, dude. I got hurt 10 years ago, and it just doesn't feel like that.
Yeah.
It just and it's weird because like time crawls and flies at the same time. Because it's like some
Mhm.
of those days where I was in so much pain, and even recently with my shoulder, it's like days are just crawling by. But then you look back on it, it's like it's already been almost 7 weeks since I broke the shoulder, and it's like I'm almost Zeke Heiling,
Yeah, almost.
almost.
Keep-
I'll be
keep
Zeke
up-
Heiling in
keep
no
up the-
time. I can do it
Keep
in the
up the
hot
physical
tub.
therapy. Okay. Yeah, dude, it's like the year just started, but I also
Man, it's April.
Saturday I bought a tomato plant that was flowering, and I just put it in the ground today. And it's like it feels like the year just started, but I'm
Yeah.
gonna have fruited tomatoes in like maybe 2-3 weeks.
Wow. Yeah, we're not ready yet. It's still getting down into the low 40s and high 30s. I think we're scheduled to go to freeze again one time in the next week or so. So I haven't moved anything outside yet, and I haven't really dug into. I'm having garden issues. So like my entire garden is fucking infested with like moles or voles or mice, whatever
Voles,
the
yeah.
fuck it is. And like I was gonna leave my strawberries and just let them do their thing, but now I'm gonna have to yank them all again and like replow the entire fucking garden. And I don't know how I'm gonna keep those bastards out of there. I saw a cool video where this guy had like a wand connected to a propane tank, and he was just fucking pumping propane down into the holes, and then he just fired it, and it was like blew everything up inside.
Are-
I'd do that.
They're not raised beds, are they?
What?
You're like straight into the ground, not
No,
raised
I'm
beds?
raised. I'm like 6 inches.
Okay, so the way that you take care of that, you're gonna have to pull your shit out, but put a layer of a mesh wire, like smaller holes than chicken wire, and put that down under the dirt because they come up through the bottom.
Mhm.
And so if you put that, you put a layer of dirt, the mesh thing, and then what you're planting, the roots will be able to go through the mesh, and the voles aren't able to get up from the bottom.
Interesting. I'm gonna do that because it's gonna
You're
be a
listening
bitch.
to Better
because
Homes
I'm
and
gonna-
Gardens.
Yeah, right. Like it's gonna be a bitch because I'm gonna have to like move all the dirt out of the way, and
Yeah.
like, it's gonna be a bitch. But I got to figure it out because they really just destroyed everything last year. I still got good tomatoes and good strawberries and shit, but I don't think it was as good as it could have been because everything's just hollowed out. And then
Yeah,
my dog
I
goes
flooded
fucking
those
crazy
bitches.
digging, and he doesn't catch any of them, which annoys me.
I had a ton of red because it was towards the end of the year when they got me. It wasn't like early through most of the year I was good. Then at the end of the year, and I had a ton of red peppers, and I had my garlic skins I was saving, or garlic peels, whatever.
Mhm.
And I just made a big soup of garlic and chili and red pepper, and I poured it in their holes, and then I put my hose in there. They're
Nice,
gone.
nice.
But
I'm
then
gonna
I
try something
fucking
like that, too.
exposed all the roots on my tomato plants.
Yeah, it's something, man, I didn't even think about this until recently, but like I'm setting up where I think I can have a decent business out of here doing succulents. Like I've over the winter I've figured out what propagates and what doesn't, and like what's easy to propagate and which is a little bit harder. And I think what I'm going to do is like right now, like all the propagated stuff is super small, and I don't think I'll be able to sell it this year. It'll probably have to be a next year sale. And I would
Yeah.
imagine it'll kind of be like that where I have to, do years. And anyways, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go buy a bunch of like I was just looking on Facebook today. You can get like what do they call that? Like the old wood, reclaimed wood. So you can get like
Yeah.
reclaimed fence boarding for fucking like nothing. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut them down and make like 4-inch pots and 6-inch square pots and stuff like that, and just sell the succulents in those because I don't think I can sell them just like in a small pot because you can get them for $5 at Home Depot in the same thing.
Right.
And it's like I
You-
have to
you get
come
them
in.
potted, they're like 30-35 bucks.
Exactly. So I have to do something different than Home Depot. I have to make it more of like an arrangement and an assorted type of thing. And I'll have like, different stuff in there. I'm figuring out these, they're called dwarf jade and they turn into bonsai. So I'm figuring that out. I've got a couple
Oh,
more
sick.
that turn into bonsai or it's going to take a while, but if I can grow like, a 2-year bonsai and sell it for $50, you know, LED lights aren't very expensive. I'm running LED lights all over my house on these
Dude,
plants.
this LED right here. So I have a silver pothos. I'm
Yeah.
just gonna turn off my
I've seen
background thing. So I have a silver pothos, and those LED lights are all the light that it gets, and it's thriving.
Cool. That's
Yeah.
fucking rad. Yeah. And so, like, I think, you know, it might take 2 or 3 years to make one of those, but all I'm really paying for is water and LED and time, you know.
Yeah.
So $50 I think would be a fair trade on that, you know.
Yeah.
Like if you got a bonsai that's 2 years old, maybe that big around, something like that. Like I think that's worth $50. They cost 35 at Home Depot for just a year old and not even close to that. So what I didn't think about was my homeowners association. And I'm not sure if they're going to freak out if I put like a thing out front. I was planning on making like kind of like a wagon looking thing,
Yeah.
like a covered wagon almost. And then
Yeah,
just
like
having
Letterkenny.
yeah. And just have like a
Yeah.
big sign on it and then just leave everything out there and sell it at Honor Policy. So I'll just like, you know, bolt the fucking money jar down to the thing and just trust people to do the right thing. Cause I live in fucking Nampa, Idaho. People are pretty good around here about like being honest. And I've seen people do this with eggs and tomatoes and all kinds of shit.
Oh, you could probably make quite a bit of money in the spring with starters.
Yeah, I was gonna sell strawberry starters also.
Oh, our tomatoes are
Yeah.
going off.
I don't have a setup to where I can make tomatoes. But
I'll
the
send you a picture
strawberries.
of mine. It was cheap.
What's that?
So we bought these baskets. They're like organization baskets. Started off with, I think I spent $20 on a set of like 4 pods of 16 that came with LED lights and a heating pad. And then when the tomatoes got a little bit tall, I bought these baskets and we hang the lights from the baskets. I'm maybe like $35 into it.
How do you propagate them?
No, it was seeds.
Oh,
trays.
I see. Yeah, I could do something like that. That'd be cool. I was also thinking like, so last year I grew 2 cucumber plants, which was way too much. Like it was putting
Ours
out,
died.
dude, it was putting out massive fucking alien dicks like every freaking day.
direct sow?
Huh?
Did you direct sow those seeds, or
What's
did
that
you
mean?
get starters?
Oh no,
Did
I
you
got
put 'em in the-
starters from Home Depot. You know,
So typically, cucumbers just don't do well. That's what we've learned. So we're
mine
going to go
went
straight into the ground.
crazy. Mine have gone crazy. I had so many that my family couldn't eat them. I had to give them away. So like I'm thinking what I'm gonna do on that thing is I'll just have a crate out there that says free vegetables and just give them away for free to people that buy shit. You know,
Yeah, or sell them for $1
sell
a
them.
piece.
I saw a really cool video the other day of this old guy who's just got a track house, a normal track house. He's probably got a half acre, similar to mine, and he turned the entire fucking thing into a garden, and he feeds his entire neighborhood.
Yeah. In most states, they'd shut you down.
Yeah, I don't remember what state it was in. I saved the video though, but it's not worth playing on here because I just described it. So we don't really need to go into that, right? So how's your agents going?
So from what I can talk about with it, it's going really well. The thing that sparked it was somebody called me and said, "Hey, I have this data set that's really hard to get, and do you think you can do anything with it?" And it falls within my field of expertise. So I was sitting there thinking, and I'm like, "Well, how do executives deal with data now?" Well, they log into this shiny dashboard that's one size fits all. You have to go from page to page to see the graphs, or you have to pay an analyst to give you the reports that you want. So, what would happen if they could just ask it questions and it gave them their data back? And that's kind of where we started. And I got a fucking killer technical co-founder. He lives a mile from me. We have the same last name, and we have no family in common. And he's a beast. He's working like 80, 100 hours a week right now, just banging shit out. And what we discovered is this data that we have, Google pays $60 million a year to license worse data than we have to train their LLM. So we're actually going to train an LLM for this specific thing.
Purpose.
And it'll be very, very disruptive for the industry. That's it. I can't say too much because anybody can license this data. Just the people selling it are not marketing it very well. So I want to keep my competitive edge there, but it
Yeah.
could be. It's one of those things where like I had a VC reach out to me without me doing anything, and was like, "Hey, I want to talk to you." And I'm like, "Hey, I don't know how much this is going to cost yet." He's like, "Oh, let's get on the phone anyway." So it could be very, very lucrative, or it could be just like most startups and fail. But
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited about it.
One of my favorite YouTube channels is called Science and Futurism with Isaac Arthur. And his kind of take on AI has been that you don't want an AGI or you don't want a super intelligence. Like that starts to get sketchy. What you really want is narrow AI that is very good at a specific purpose, and then
Yeah.
you apply those to every aspect of society essentially. But he's
Yeah.
kind of on the fence. He's like, I don't think we want a conscious computer. I think that's dangerous. I think it could be torture, like slavery, all these different, like that it could.
Just unplug the fucking computer, bro.
Yes,
It's
exactly. That's
we actually have. So I talked to one person at IBM, and he's the only person that doesn't agree with this, but it's generally stated that we're just so far behind on compute that like there's no way there's unless how AI trains and runs changes significantly, it'd be impossible for computer overlords.
Mhm.
There's just not enough chips. There's not like when ChatGPT launched the images,
Mhm.
like you saw those everybody's posting their fucking
Yeah, it's
Ghibli
so
images.
stupid.
They had servers burning, like literally melting,
Wow.
because they had so much data to process, and that's just retards doing Ghibli images.
Wow.
How are you gonna make me a slave when you can't even put out the art?
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you, man. So this is something I wanted to ask you about. Since we've started this podcast, you've probably started what, half a dozen businesses?
I've tried quite a few,
A
yeah.
couple have failed, a couple are still going.
Mostly mostly fail.
What gives you the ability to come up with all of this shit? I feel like I have a decent mind for business, and I sit around here thinking about shit that I could do all day, and I come up with nothing. And then here you are, like almost every time we talk, you've got something else going. What do you think gives you that ability, and why? Like, why are other people missing it?
I don't even know that it's ideas, because like back when the apps were booming, my mom had great ideas for apps, but she didn't know how to use a phone.
Mhm.
Like she just has a landline. When my stepdad died, I got her a cell phone. She's like, "Yeah, I can't use this. Just give me a landline."
Yeah.
But they were very valid ideas dealing with an older market, but she had no way to execute it. And I think it's important to be able to execute on things. So I try. I you know you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah.
You got to throw some shit at the wall, you know?
Yeah, yeah, throw shit at the wall. Like that book, I made a couple $1,000 off of it, but I think I spent more trying to like get
Market.
famous on podcasts and
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah, that
Um, I-
freaking Podmatch site it's not a good site. Like
No.
nobody has a good podcast on that site. Doesn't matter whose podcast you go on, you're not really going to sell anything. Like I've
Yeah.
kind of went away from it. I go to it every once in a while when I want an interview. I'm still paying for it. It's only like $6 a month or something like that. But it's not a good marketing tool. I bought like one of the profiles that you bought where you go on other people's shows, and it's like they start throwing you ideas for shows, and it's like you go and look it up on YouTube and they got nothing. They get
Yeah.
no views. Sometimes they're not even on YouTube. And I think not going on YouTube I think it's a coward's way to say my show is bigger than it actually is, because YouTube, you can actually see the fucking numbers, right?
Yeah.
And if I wanted to pretend that this podcast was a lot bigger than it actually is, I could take it off of YouTube and say I have tons of subscribers and tons of downloads, and nobody would know the difference.
Yeah.
But I think
Yeah,
like
and I think
YouTube's
some
a great
people just aren't.
marketplace for like, are you saying something that's worth listening to?
Yeah, and I think quite a few people just aren't able to get good enough quality video and audio and
Yes,
match it
that's
up.
a big problem.
Yeah.
I won't even listen to a podcast with bad audio. I just can't do it. And like, even before I was a podcaster, I couldn't do it. It's just like, man, this is murder on my ears. It's just get a fucking microphone, get a setup. If you're gonna do this, you got to spend some money. Like I spent a lot of money on this podcast. I bought a lot of
Yeah.
equipment that maybe I didn't need to buy, but also like my other co-host is not computer inclined in any way. So like without buying him a Rodecaster, there was zero chance he was going to be able to figure out how to do this shit on his own. And he lives in Montana, so it's not like I can just go and set it up for him, you know?
Right.
And like my big thing on this podcast from the beginning was good video, good sound. And like hopefully everything will go from there, you know? And I know a lot of people have done podcasts for a long time and gotten no recollection from, you know, they've just got nothing out of it, but they keep pounding and hammering, and then one day somebody listens to it, you know, and
Yeah.
that person goes, oh, these people are talented, they've got a good show, and maybe you get on a big podcast that way, you know, and that happens. And you know, would I like this podcast to be bigger? Yeah, but it's, you know, not as easy as I thought it was going to be. You know, you gotta have an audience in some way. and
10-year
started this
overnight
with nothing.
success.
Huh?
Most people are 10-year overnight successes.
Yeah.
Like you see the success part, but they don't see the
The
10
grinding.
years that leads up to it.
Yeah, I heard.
What-
I heard somebody say that. Oh, it was Dave was saying that recently when Sam Harris was like, "Oh, this guy came out of nowhere," and he's like, "No, I've been podcasting for 15 years, and
Yeah.
I finally got popular 5 years ago." You know?
Yeah. What I like about doing this podcast is like hearing, because my wife doesn't give a shit about politics or the
Yeah.
news, so I don't talk about it, and being able to like fully form thoughts
Yes.
and hear it come out of my mouth, and sometimes I'm like, oh, that's retarded. I need to rethink that, or oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense, or counterpoints that you make.
Me too. I have a really hard time putting a thought into a tweet. Like for me, I kind of like have to talk about it and like you're saying, kind of dissect it and really, you know, sometimes on the podcast when you say something for the first time, it comes out great. You know,
Yeah.
like I've heard Tim Dillon go on rants on his podcast that are just fucking incredible.
He's the fucking best though.
He's insane. And then he goes on Rogan and does the same rant and it's not as good. You know, like sometimes that when it comes out of you the first time, it's got that raw emotion, that raw, you know, feeling visceral feeling that it gives you that like pushes you to have a thought about it, you know, and I have a hard time doing that on Twitter, X, whatever. And, you know, I've been trying to
Don't
tweet
dead name
more.
it.
And, yeah, don't dead name them. I've been trying to tweet more, and I'm just arguing with morons, and I'm not getting any more followers. It's fucking annoying. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's definitely like people are really dumb. I've had to get back into LinkedIn lately just for the business side of it, and I started trolling people. And I just don't have the energy to deal with that much negativity or that much pushback. But everybody's like a fucking expert about things that they've never done.
Yeah.
So I go and I pick topics. Like, no, I did this. And people are like, well, I disagree with you. I'm like, well, how many times have you done this? And they just like go silent, or they'll insult me and I'll be like, so none. But I just don't. I got like 15,000 profile views last week just from shitting on people. And I don't have the energy to keep up with that on top of, you know, doing the two businesses.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's just wild. And the really funny thing is too, is like, you get these fucking morons that have anime characters for their profile and just are complete fucking idiots. And they're the first one to accuse you of being an 80 IQ midwit. And it's just like, come on, guys. Like,
Oh, yeah.
you can fucking listen to hours and hours of this podcast on Twitter and like clearly somebody with an 80 IQ is not capable of running a podcast. That's just, you know, you can't do it. You got to have 100 IQ to run a podcast, I would say.
Yeah. Or that guy that accused me of being an 80 IQ high school dropout.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And then blocked me on my burner accounts. We're not going to talk too much about that. But before I could even reply.
It's so annoying. They do that to you all the time. They're such cowards. It's like,
Yes.
oh, this guy's an 80 IQ, block. It's like, fuck, man. I want to rip into you so fucking bad right now. And it bothers me. And that's one of the things that I hate about Twitter is like, I'm bad at just like posting and forgetting about it. I'll go into the fucking comment, you motherfucker. you know, and like I'm just bad at it. I'm trying to just be more lighthearted and just calling people fags, but that's not it.
I got in an argument with this dude during the pandemic, and I promised him that if I ever saw him, I'd beat him up, and we might be at the same wedding this weekend.
Nice. Oh man, please have your wife film it. I would love to see that. I haven't been in a fight in a long time. It's been a while.
I think I'm done with him. I think I'm done with him.
I'm absolutely done with them. Like
really?
the last fucking incident I had, I was really close
At the
to getting
grocery
into
store?
a fight. Yeah. Because it was like I had a split second to decide: do I hold my ground and just wait for this guy to bitch out and leave, or do I rock him in the face as he's walking up to me? And you've got such little time to make that decision. And at that point, like I was already in an argument with the grocery store. And my thought was, if the cops come, I'm probably going to jail, whether I deserve to or not. So I was kind of, because, my defense would be that guy got out of his car, started running up to me, and I defended myself before I gave him a chance to hurt me. But you don't know what kind of cop you're going to get. I've been arguing with these morons on Twitter for fucking 2 days about disorderly conduct. It's fucking crazy that like you get Americans who are defending cops for arresting people for swearing. Oh, they deserved it. And it's like, no, they were. And in the video, these fucking idiots are trying to dine and dash. And then the cops show up and just like do nothing. Hey, you need to pay. Oh, you need to pay. And they're there for 20 minutes and they're not paying. And finally the chick says motherfucker and he arrests her. It's like, arrest them for stealing and give the restaurant an ability to sue these losers if they want to. Because if you arrest them for disorderly conduct, now you have zero grounds for a fucking lawsuit. I've been through this so many times in bars. Like it just, you get fucked.
Can you arrest somebody for saying motherfucker?
They did.
I know, but like, that sounds like free speech, which we're getting away from.
And the same guy, I cussed him out and told him his chick was a disgusting fucking pig. Have me arrested for, disorderly conduct. It's like, what the fuck? You can say it on the internet, but you can't say it in person. They're at a bar at 10 o'clock at night with nobody around. Why can't you say motherfucker? It's America.
You should just not be able to say it on the internet or in person.
Yeah, and it was like they were looking for an excuse to arrest these people, but they didn't need an excuse. They were fucking dine and dashing.
Yeah.
And it's just, it drives me nuts. People defending these fucking asshole cops that are not your friends. Conservatives, when they think these fucking cops are your friends. We played a video last night on the podcast of cops in the UK dancing and like doing gay shit at a pride event. So when they're not arresting people for free speech on the internet, they're dancing at pride events with fucking trans flags all over them and rainbow painting on their faces. Like, these are not your friends. There was another video that I pulled up. I could probably find it real quick because this one's fucking wild. Here we go. Listen to this shit. This is America, mind you. This is in America.
Am I legally allowed to have my penis out today?
Do whatever you want.
Okay, so that's not against the law?
It's not against the law as long as you're not masturbating and you're not fully erect and it's not for sexual gratification.
Okay, cool.
So if you're not, as long as you're not fully erect. So what are they going to do? Are they going to go and give hand jobs and find out if somebody's fully erect or not?
I mean, that'd probably be the highlight of that cop's day.
Right? Like, these are not your friends. These are not your friendly neighborhood fucking police. Like, these are people who could give two shits if little kids are around men jerking off. The most disgusting thing I've ever seen in my life was the Folsom Street Fair. I was living in San Francisco, and we went to like the Haight Street Fair, and we went to like, a couple other these events that they have throughout San Francisco all through the summer. And so the people that I was living with, I was in a sober living facility at the time. And the guys that I was living with, they'd lived in the city a long time. They're like, oh, we're going to go to the Folsom Street Fair this weekend. Okay. I don't know what I'm going into, Yeah. And as soon as I get off of the fucking like BART and go up over, back onto the street level, the first thing I see is some fucking guy on a balcony jerking off onto the crowd. And like, we walked around for like 10 minutes and I was like, I can't do this, guys. This is fucking disgusting. It's just, I can't do it. Like, I was trying to be like more tolerant of gay people because I hadn't been around gay people my entire life. Like I lived in Northern California, there was no gay people. In Southern California, we had like one gay guy at our restaurant, and he was a fucking meth head, and we fired him really quick. So I was kind of like, all right, like I have to be tolerant type of thing because you're always brainwashed to think that tolerance is. Anyways, I couldn't
love
do it.
hanging
It was
out with gay
disgusting.
dudes.
It was just so gross. There was kids there, kids everywhere. There was guys walking around with like Asian guys on dog collars crawling around the street and shit like that. It was just
Yeah, that's a little
gross.
excessive.
And the cops are just sitting there watching,
Yeah,
having a good old time.
that's unfortunate. We had an office in LA, and I had my team down. We were like crabbing this project, and we were over in the neighborhood over off of Santa Monica, and we got everything done, and we went to walk to get ice cream, and like it's Sunday night, and the gay bars are just like flooding out with people, and I like put myself in it. Everybody on my team was female except one person, so I like put myself between the aggressive guys and the females, and I realized, oh no, they'd be aggressive to me before they'd be aggressive
Fuck
to
yeah.
them, and I hopped over to the other side.
Dude, I almost got in a fight in the Castro one time when I was living in the city. I was transferring buses, and I lived in like where did I live? I lived in Diamond Heights. So you kind of had to go through the Castro to get up into Diamond Heights. And I'm just sitting on the corner waiting for a bus. I got headphones in. Some guy like walks up to me and like puts his arm around my shoulder. I'm like, the fuck is going on? And I kind of look at him and I'm like, hey man, like, what are you doing? He's like, hey, I got a bunch of meth. Want to come back to my hotel room? I'm like, no, absolutely not. Get the fuck away from me. Hey, come on, man. And he starts like walking me. And this is a big Mexican guy. He's like 6'4", 250, just a big fucking guy. And I had to like, hey man, get the fuck off of me and kind of square up. I'm like, if you touch me again, I'm going to fucking rock you. And it was scary because,
Yeah,
that guy wanted to
I
rape
mean,
me.
What were you wearing?
Oh, I don't know. Probably something similar to this.
Something
black.
slutty, I bet.
I don't know, man. I was in
You're
really good
asking
shape.
for it.
I was in great shape back then. I did a couple semesters at San Francisco City College, and I went to the gym every day. Like that was one of my classes, and I was fucking jacked for a couple years there. Still got
I
a
meant
little
to say
bit of
this
it.
earlier when we were on the gardening stuff. Of the stuff that you sent me, the strawberries are thriving, and almost everything else is dead.
Oh, really? The succulents didn't make it, huh?
Yeah, no, and
sucks.
we planted like there's a few of the longer ones seem to be okay, but most of them died.
I'll send you some more.
Yeah,
And it'll be easier for them to probably survive since it's the wintertime. Or I mean, since it's the summertime. So, yeah, I'll send you some more. I got a package coming up that I need to send you in a couple weeks anyways. So,
sweet. Those strawberries are going off though.
dude, they're so
It's
good. When
interesting.
like the best strawberries I've ever fucking had.
It's interesting because they started flowering, so I picked the buds for the first week just to like help them
Yeah.
establish the roots. But now that it's getting cold at night, they like retract back,
Mhm.
and then they flower during the day.
Yeah.
So I'm excited that we might have some fruit soon.
What a cool plant,
Yeah.
It's like sometimes I just sit back and like think about how lucky we are to be here, to be alive, to have life on this planet. Like you look out into the galaxy and into the universe, and there's nothing. There's no people. There's, that Isaac Arthur guy that I watch a lot. He has a theory called the Dyson dilemma, which is like any sufficiently advanced culture and society, their end game is going to be a Dyson sphere, essentially surrounding your entire sun in solar panels and gathering up as much energy as you possibly can. And you can colonize a galaxy at 10% light speed in 1,000,000 years, the entire fucking galaxy. So if there was people out there, we should see entire galaxies blocked out, stars missing, like just weird holes, dark holes all over the universe. And we don't see any of that,
Well, have you been out to the ice shelf to look?
But it's like, a strawberry.
That's assuming that they
A
need
strawberry
that-
is like it's one of the most incredible things. It just grows out of a plant. It tastes incredible. Like, could you imagine being a native or like thousands of years ago and just walking up on a batch of strawberries or blackberries or raspberries? It'd just be like a gold mine.
And hoping that these ones weren't poison.
Yeah, you'd have to test it, right?
You have to test it. Yeah,
Oh man, but yeah, like a strawberry, it's just an incredible fucking thing, you know?
it really is. Um, so that guy's theory about or statements about sucking up all the solar and everything, that has the assumption that they use the same technology that we
Exactly.
do.
I think that there's a way to tap into vacuum energy. And if you can tap into vacuum energy, you have no reason to create a Dyson sphere. Or if you have wormholes, you have no reason to create a Dyson sphere. If you had wormholes, imagine if we had wormholes. You could open up one wormhole into the sun and another one into a fusion reactor, and you would just have plasma consistently all the time and just unlimited energy. You could even tap in, like, there's a great book by a guy named Alistair Reynolds. Just he's an incredible author. He writes sci-fi, and he has an engine in one of their spacecrafts that it's such a cool theory. So these smart fucking people created a wormhole, sent it back in time, and then they were able to tap into the early universe when it was just this hot mess of plasma and use it as a rocket engine. Essentially, you're just
Oh, wow.
forcing plasma through, and then you think, okay, if it was created in the future and sent back to the past, who really created it? I guess they didn't create it, and they kind of fell upon it. Essentially, they didn't really create it. So it's a bootstrap paradox. Who actually created this machine? They find it in the future, and then they send it to the past where it's invented, I guess.
Yeah.
But essentially, nobody invented that fucking thing. It just kind of appeared, which is, I think, a really cool theory. Like, I've heard it done with, like, you could say, if you were the biggest Beethoven fan in the world and you created a time machine, you go, I want to go and see early Beethoven. You know, so you go back in time and you start going to all these different places where you think he could be, and you don't find him. You go, what the fuck is going on here? Well, after a while, you go, I've got all of his music and I know how to play the piano. So let's just start fucking playing. And who wrote that music at that point? Nobody.
Yeah,
It's interesting. I love shit
it,
like
it
that.
really is.
I love shit
Yeah,
like
I
that.
I don't spend too much time on creative thought like that. But
I
that's
spend way
really
too much
interesting.
time on thought like that, which is why I can't create a product.
Because you're like, what if future me doesn't like this product?
Yeah, exactly. It's too much. Like when I was a kid, I watched Discovery Channel and Science Channel. That was like my shit. If I was gonna watch TV, which is very rarely, I watch TV at night. But like I was out on a bicycle or a dirt bike, like doing BMX. I was an outside dog. I was not an inside dog when I was a kid. And like I'd turn that shit on, and they had great programming back then. They had great shows on space, and I loved that show How It Works, where they would just like 15 minutes they'd show you like go through the entire production line of how something is made. I love shit like that. But the space shit was always my thing. Like I was always into aliens and spaceships and fucking warp drives and all that crazy shit. And I'm still into it. Like the only TV that I typically watch today is sci-fi. Like there's a couple sci-fi shows that I really like. There's one called The Three Body Problem, which is just incredible. It's so good. It's like a modern day take of War of the Worlds, essentially.
Okay.
And it's just incredible. Like the guy went to another level. You want me to tell you about it, or is that something you would ever watch?
No.
So this alien race creates what they call a sophon. So they take a proton and they unfold it into different dimensions, and they wrap it around their entire planet, and then like put like computer chips all through it, and then it can fold back down in its original state. They send it to Earth, two of them, and their job was to get into like the Large Hadron Collider and fuck up all of our data so we don't learn about higher levels of science.
It's like the government.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a great show, you know? And one of the best scenes in it was everybody's kind of fucking overwhelmed. It's like, holy shit. These people are on their way here. They're gonna subjugate us. They're really, really nasty people. Like really, really bad. They grew up in a solar system that was a 3-body solar system, so 3 suns. So they would have to like dehydrate themselves in the bad periods and then wake up. So it took them forever to come up with their technology. And they're terrified of us because we create things so fast. was we never had to go into hibernation. We never had to start over. We just keep on creating, but we don't know that, you know. And this cop, who's like one of the main characters in the show, takes these scientists. These scientists are like, we're fucked. We're going to die. Like, because they sent us a message essentially saying, you are bugs. And which is a scary message, right? And so this cop takes them out to the swamp and he goes, look at all these fucking bugs. We've been at war with these things for our entire generation. Mosquitoes have killed more people than anything in history, and we can't get rid of them. And I love that, you know?
Oh yeah. Yeah. So I guess should we get into some politics?
Sure. What do you got?
I got nobody knows what the fuck's happening. And everybody's an expert on it, but like just nothing is, you know, the administration started off really good, I think. And then now we're bombing the poorest country in the Middle East, doing the exact same thing that Trump shit on Biden for doing.
Yep.
I read an article, I didn't fact check it, that we just deployed 50,000 new troops to the Middle East.
Oh, God.
And we're just marching to war with Iran.
Yeah, I agree. It seems inevitable at this point. The military industry complex has wanted that war for a long time, and they're going to get it.
Yeah, since Bush won.
Yeah. Even before that, I think.
No, it is Bush.
Was it Bush one? Okay.
Dave Smith talked about it.
Did he?
So that's why I say it so
Yeah.
strongly. Because if Dave Smith says it, I'm
It's
pretty
fucking-
confident.
it's
I
true.
never looked it up.
No.
And then like with the economy and the tariffs, like, oh my God, everything's gonna fold. And then now stock market's back.
Yeah. Dude,
And
it's
then
crazy.
you have Bassett. Oh, for the 90-day pause, and then you have Bassett like, oh, you know, we got China in a chokehold. They show that they're a bad actor on the world stage, and it's like, or did you just crumble? It's up on China to kick the stock market back off, and here we are. It's like I really don't know if it's as calculated as they say it is, because like, what if it didn't work?
Yeah.
You know, like what would the messaging be then? So it's just a bunch of the same stuff. But what's really disappointing is that before, when I was younger, you would have two sides and they disagree on things, but they would get things done.
Did
for
they
the
really
betterment
disagree,
of the
though?
company.
Did they really
Well,
disagree?
To some extent, they did.
A little
And
bit.
now you have
It's
just
theater,
this
though.
coalition of people on the left that no matter what Trump does, they're gonna just fight it.
Yeah.
Just fight it. You know, the socialist left like wants to crush all the billionaires. Trump turned more billionaires into millionaires than anybody in my lifetime,
Yeah.
and they're complaining about it.
Yeah.
Shouldn't you be happy?
Dude, my favorite hate listen, Pulp MX, Steve Mathis, the host, he just drives me fucking insane. And he was giving somebody shit, going, oh, your guy's really killing it in the White House. I've got to work an extra 4 years now because of it. And it's just like, shut the fuck up. Go look
Just
at
pull
the
yourself up by the bootstraps.
dude. Go and fucking. He's a liberal. Go and fucking look at the S&P 500 on the 5-year. Dude, the
Yeah.
stock market is still higher than 95% of the Biden administration. None of them gave a shit when it was, you know, they changed the definition of recession to hide the fact that we were in a recession. And like,
Yeah.
it's fucking crazy. Gas is down, or oil is down below $60 a barrel. It hasn't been below $60 a barrel since like 2 months into the Biden administration. Like, shut the fuck up. Stop making me defend Trump on this bullshit so I can like actually rip
Shit
into
on him
him
about the
on the
stuff that
stuff
he's
that I'm mad
ruining.
about.
Yeah.
It's like I'm not a fucking Trumper. I'm not carrying water for this guy. Like, let me give him shit for the stuff that he deserves to get shit for. Don't make me fucking defend the guy. It's just shut the fuck up and calm down with the TDS. It drives me nuts.
And it's this fucking, you know, team thing. Like you have
Yeah.
to be on this team and you have to march lock and step. What I can say about the liberals is at least some of them are principled, and like the people that are out there setting fires, they're fighting back
Yeah.
against what they believe to be a rigged system. For the last 4 years, you had we've talked about it, but like all of the lawfare,
Yeah.
the treasury is getting pillaged. That's all coming out, and the conservatives didn't do anything. They sent some letters.
Nothing.
Yeah,
They're
you guys should stop
toothless.
that.
They're toothless.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
fucking crazy, you know?
And David Freeberg makes a good point about this. That there's a good chance for a rise in socialism after the Trump administration.
Yeah.
Because the only principled people on all of the moderate left has no principles to stand on. So that whole party is getting taken over by these radicals. And if you're against Trump, which fucking every piece of media tells you that you should be, it's just putting these retards in power.
Yeah. You know what the
So-
greatest thing about them like carving swastikas into Teslas is that like,
I can drive around in my Tesla now.
oh, that was good. That was good. No, I love that the liberal media is not covering it, so they have no idea that people are going to prison for this shit,
Yeah.
and they just keep doing it. They don't like. You would think that if CNN was responsible and cared about the liberal base, they would go, "Hey, look, somebody just went to prison for this. There's cameras on the car. Don't do this, or cover your fucking face if you're going to." But they just keep doing it because they're fucking stupid.
And the media is still so rigged. Like Reid Hoffman founded LinkedIn and he hates Trump and Elon and everything. But I have to have a feed up during the day now. And there's like this little corner that's like LinkedIn news headline: Tesla's sales plummet as company spirals out of control. Another headline about something, Wall Street, whatever. Next headline: Rivian sales lowered due to lower demand. I'm like, probably the same thing.
Yeah, no shit. I'm gonna look up Tesla's stock right now because
Oh, it's not good. Well, it's better today. Had a little rally today. It's up like $50 today, but it's still down $122 over the last 3 months.
let's see. I'm gonna go to. Oh yeah, today it's up pretty good. I'm gonna go to the 6-month candle. It's not terrible though. Like it's been kind of going down for, well, I guess since the election. But it was, yeah, that sucks. It was on a pretty big climb up until the election.
Oh yeah, I would.
Shit.
My entry point would. I don't have a bunch of shares. I actually cashed out all of my trading account except for my Tesla shares. But my entry point, my average was like 315, and it was up to 472.
Yeah, Bitcoin's up
And
almost
when
10%
when
today.
it dipped, that because it was like floating around 400, and when it dipped down to like 390, I picked up a little more, like added 20% to
Yeah.
what I held, and so that's what brought my median share price up. It should have been down in the 200s, but whatever. It doesn't mean anything until those robots come out, and then it's going to be like $2,000-$3,000 a share.
Yeah, we'll see about that. I'm still not convinced on the robot front. Kawasaki put out a cool robot this week on Twitter. It was. Did you see that?
That
It's fake. But like, what
Yeah,
a
it's fake.
great marketing, scheme.
Well, how great is that marketing scheme when you don't have the product to sell? Like it, they have
Kawasaki was
working
trending on Twitter for 2 days.
Okay, and they're still not going to sell their chainsaw to me or
They don't
whatever.
make chainsaws; they make dirt bikes and bridges.
They make all sorts of shit.
Yeah, they make like their main thing is bridges. I think.
Bridges.
Yeah,
Okay.
big bridges.
No, I think they
Big,
make like
beautiful
leaf
bridges.
blowers, chainsaws,
No, they didn't make any of
shit
that
like
shit.
that too.
Yeah. No.
But I'm still not going to buy any of their shit
No. Well, like
until that comes out.
dirt bikes, though, that's kind of. I think that was kind of the goal on this. Dirt bikes, 4-wheelers, side by sides. They make all of that shit. So like, Kawasaki's trending. You go and you look at their look at this thing, and then maybe you go to the website. It's about getting their fucking name in front of your face. Like a lot of times, it doesn't matter what they're saying or what they're selling. It's just about seeing the fucking name. You know what I mean? And Kawasaki's not trending during Supercross. There's guys out there on Kawasaki's doing really well, winning races, but it's still not going to trend on Twitter. Like I think that's a totally fake machine. I don't think it does anything. They probably just built it to look the way it did, and then they use CGI
they have
for the
a
video.
prototype that works, but there's exactly one of them.
Yeah,
from
and
what
they
I
didn't-
was reading.
and they didn't show it working. So how well does it work?
Yeah.
Maybe they can program it to do something, but I don't know. It's cool though.
But
I think
I
it's
guess
cool looking.
I just get a side by side still.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it.
I guess the selling point would be extremely challenging terrain, mountainsides, hunting. You know, there's still places where, like, most of the time people hunt off of four-wheelers now, but there's still places where you can't get four-wheelers and horseback is the way to go.
Yeah.
But and I was also thinking it's probably going to be electric, which is not going to give it very much range. I was like it would be cool if they just put like a two-stroke engine in it and made it a hybrid or something like that, but like you're not going to be able to run chains and sprockets to all of the fucking, limbs, and like those are all going to be electrical servos and fly-by-wire. So you would have to convert the gas powered energy, that power, into electricity before you could utilize it anyways.
Yeah. So my land is mostly a hill or like a foothill for mountains, I guess. I'm not sure exactly how that shit works, like how they designate them. But I have trails. But then I wouldn't have to maintain the trails that much if I had a little fucking
Yeah, a walker. Yeah. Yeah, no, I think it would be super cool. But like, if it's made to run up and down mountains, it's got to have a little bit of it's going to have an energy issue. You're not going to be able to get too far away from your charger on something like that, I don't think.
Well, when they finally put it out in 20 years, maybe the technology will be different.
Solid state batteries could be out by then. And,
Yeah.
like, it's weird that like Elon isn't fucking around with solid state batteries. I guess maybe he's waiting for Toyota to do it or something like that, and then he'll just rip it off and make his own. But it would seem that like if you wanted to take a big jump in electric vehicles, solid state batteries are that jump.
That doesn't mean that he's not doing it.
That's true. He was talking shit on him on
Okay.
Rogan, and like Rogan was asking him about range, and he's like, "Oh no, range isn't a problem." It's like, you don't get to decide if range is a problem. That's the consumer that's driving it. Like,
Yeah.
for me, range wouldn't be a problem, but for other people, range would be a massive fucking problem. So
It's a problem when it costs $1 billion to build an EV charger.
yeah, exactly. And we don't have the fucking energy for it, right? You remember as soon as California said they were going all electric, they went into brownouts and told people not to charge their fucking cars. So
Or
good
their
luck with
phones.
that. Yeah, or their phones.
Don't charge your phone at night. And it's scary. But there's no way that the world's dumb enough to elect Newsom as president, right?
I don't know about that. I think they are. I think he's probably more popular nationally than locally because people are fucking morons,
Man,
I think he could. I think I've watched clips of his podcast. He's pretty good at podcasting.
Oh yeah, he's
Like,
good at talking.
He's gonna make a full about face and be a completely different guy in the next election. And like, no, I think he absolutely could get elected because people are stupid. They have a fucking short memory, and liberals don't care. They just don't
But
care.
there's so many receipts that like he Charlie Kirk or whatever that dude's name is was on there. And he's like, we don't get Newsom was like, we never use Latinx. I've never used Latinx. Nobody from
And then
my
they show him doing it a ton of times.
and then they just show him doing it over and over again. So I think that like the left has nobody speaking to the moderates except Stephen Smith.
Yeah, and he's pretty
And
good.
he's good, but then he's like, I would not deport anybody who didn't break the law.
I know.
Like, bro, you broke the law. Come in here. Let's start there.
So one of the things that I've been like worried about is that I think there's a lot of voters that came out for Trump and nobody else. Like I did hear that a lot of people voted for Trump and then nobody else on the ticket. So I think there's a pretty decent chance that those people go back to sleep when Trump is gone.
I think that statement explains a lot of the fuckery in the like Senate seats and Congress seats
Yeah.
that took a month to decide. Oh yeah, people just voted for Trump, nobody else. I don't trust that system. I'm hopeful that once they can get past this proxy voting for single moms or whatever, they can start passing legislation.
I watched a video earlier today of a guy going into the Boise State Capitol to tell them to take down their trans flag because it's illegal. We passed a bill that said you can't run that shit anymore. You can only do like American flag, state flags, military flags. You got to take down the trans flag. So he went in there and he talked to like 5 different fucking people. Oh yeah, no worries, we'll take it down. And you just know they're not going to take it down. Like they were being so condescending. Oh, so who, and he asked, who would be the person that would take, oh, maintenance. Can I talk to them? No, they're busy right now. It's like, okay, where's their office? Well, I can't tell you that. So he goes and finds he wanders around, asks a bunch of more people. They all basically tell him to go fuck himself very nicely. And he ends up just finding the maintenance guy down there. And the maintenance guy's like, hey, what's up? He's like, hey, man, that flag's illegal now. Shows him law. He's like, oh, right on. I'll go take it down.
You guys just passed death sentence for pedos.
We did. I'm torn on that one because I don't like corporal punishment, but I do like pedos going up against the firing squad. I like that, But I wish it would be
if it's going to be a thing in the world, and it is, might as well apply it in some places.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I don't know, man. It should be scary, for these fucking people. Like, it's so, and like, I watch a lot of these videos on Twitter where these guys set them up and, meet them at Walmart to meet the 14-year-old boy or girl, whatever it is. And they go, excuse me, everybody, this guy's a pedophile in your city. And they're following out and slapping them in the face and shit. And everybody's, call the cops. And they're like, cops aren't going to do anything. They're not even going to show up. They don't fucking care. You know, they would rather go to a pride event and decide who's fully erect and 80% erect.
And help them get the rest of the way there.
Yes.
Yes.
So I don't know, man. It's something. We don't have a lot of crime in this area. And it's not because of like people being scared of the government or the firing squad. It's because they know if they fuck around in Idaho, they're going to get shot.
Oh, was it you? No, my other buddy sent me. So, under law, you have to face a jury of your peers from your district. And your
I know where
state.
you're going with this.
And like West Yellowstone is part of the district in is it not Montana?
It's Idaho.
North Dakota. Huh?
It's Idaho, but there's nobody living there.
Oh, I was in West Yellowstone. I thought
I think it's called the Dead Zone that you're thinking of, right?
yeah, and I'm pretty sure the city where I was hanging out was in the dead zone.
Yeah. No. So here, let me see if I can pull up a quick video on it, just because this is interesting. They got into this on Yellowstone, the show. They were like dumping people on it. So here's a quick video.
This is a map of Yellowstone National Park. For the most part, the park is in Wyoming, but it extends a bit into Montana and Idaho. This little 50 square miles section in Idaho is what concerns us. It's called the Zone of Death because of a loophole that exists in the Constitution of the United States. If someone were to exploit that loophole, they might be able to get away with murder. Yellowstone was established in 1872 before Wyoming, Idaho, and Montana joined the Union. It's federal land and always has been. But federal land across the U.S. is split up and divided into its corresponding state district courts, except for Yellowstone. And this is where the loophole begins. Law professor Brian C. Kalt points out in his 2005 paper, The Perfect Crime, that Yellowstone National Park was assigned fully to Wyoming's district court, even though small portions fall into Montana and Idaho.
So, unlike every other district, the District of Wyoming includes land in other states.
So, Kalt asks the question, what happens if you are caught for a crime you committed in that 50 square mile Idaho region of the park? The first thing law enforcement would do is bring you to Cheyenne, the hub of the District Court of Wyoming, because the crime technically happened within Wyoming's jurisdiction. But Article 3, Section 2 of the United States Constitution says that the trial should happen in the state where you committed the crime. If you're a savvy murderer, you'll invoke your right to a trial in Idaho. So they bring you back to Idaho, no big deal.
In the Sixth Amendment, they said that they would require local juries. And the language they used is that the jury has to be from the state and district where the crime was committed.
This is called the Vicinage Clause. That leaves you with a sort of Venn diagram. You have the right to demand a jury from that middle area, where the state in which you committed the crime, that's Idaho, overlaps with the judicial jurisdiction where you committed the crime, the Wyoming district that has jurisdiction over Yellowstone National Park. And here's the problem.
Nobody lives there. There's no way for them to give you a trial, and so I argue they should have to let you go.
This could also happen in the Montana portion of the park, except a few dozen people do live there, so a jury could theoretically be called. CULT has proposed numerous solutions to Congress to fix the loophole, but they have
I think
yet.
we get it. We don't need to know how to fix it. We want it to stay the way it is. But they do. So there was a case recently in the last few years where a mother in Idaho killed her kids with her boyfriend or something like that. And they dumped them in the dead zone, and then they fled to Maui. And they finally arrested him, brought him back to Idaho, and they determined that they killed the kids in Idaho and dumped them in the dead zone. So they did not get to be trialed in the dead zone. It didn't work for them. So you got to make sure you kill them in the dead zone.
So if you're planning a murder or just a nice family vacation, I recommend the Dead Zone. I drove through there a 2 years ago. Fucking beautiful. I stayed at Lakeside Lodge. Don't go there. The owners suck. In Island Park. But just that whole area. We rented a side-by-side, drove to the top of a mountain and shit. Like we drove up into snow, even though we were like swimming that day.
Yeah.
Down in the water. Beautiful, beautiful area.
Beautiful place. I loved, we used to go to Mount Lassen in Northern California. Have you ever been there? Fucking beautiful. They have like a volcanic lake.
Oh, my wife was telling me about this place.
It's just this big fucking lake. And when it's cold, you see steam coming off it. And like there's snow around you. You're on this massive mountain and you can go swim. And then you can drive like a couple miles and see fucking frozen rivers. And it's one of the most beautiful places I've ever been. I haven't spent a lot of time in Yellowstone. I've only driven through it on my way to North Dakota a couple of times and way back. But my buddy just bought 2 dirt bikes. He bought one, didn't like it. Then he bought another one. And he was going to sell the first one. I'm like, dude, you can't sell that bike. It's too good. It's a really good bike. It just didn't work for him in like trail riding circumstances. I'm like, you got to turn this fucker into an adventure bike. And we need to go. I need to buy one, and we need to go to fucking Yellowstone and do some adventure riding.
That sounds dope.
I've always wanted to do that. Just trailer a bike out there, and then just go ride. Set up a camp, go ride every day, hike, do whatever. But like, just have that bike to be able to fucking move around quick and not get stuck in traffic and shit. You know, if you get stuck in traffic in those parks, a lot of time people are taking pictures out of the side and shit. On a dirt bike or a motorcycle, you just go around them. Nobody's going to say a goddamn thing.
Yeah. So episode title, Planning the Perfect Murder or a Family Vacation.
Perfect. Planning the perfect murder. I'll write it down afterwards. You know what? Let's fucking call it here. This is good. All right. Good night, everybody. Sorry about the big fucking gap between the show and last.